So, rollin, say hi, hi, hello, first, hey. Here he is. Let's get Ryan in here. Do this thing. Let's do this thing when my Wi-Fi gets better. Hey,
All
Ryan,
right.
how's it going?
Everything is good. Welcome to Soho.
Oh, thank you. Welcome to Crown Heights, Brooklyn.
Old Crown Heights. I love good old Crown Heights. It's great.
Please don't judge the background in my apartment. That's the entire kitchen right there. Wow.
That looks like a good kitchen right there. We could probably sell it even
Yeah.
during Corona.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Of
I'm
course.
Emilia, and everybody, this is Ryan Serhant. He probably needs no introduction, but I will run through it real quick. Lots of accolades. He's a real estate broker, author, producer, star of Bravo's $1 Million Listing New York. He is the boss of the Serhant team, which is a bi-coastal NYC-based real estate group that is consistently ranked #1, and he has graciously agreed to chat with us. I saw your takeover. Great job.
Yeah, it's hard to do an Instagram takeover for a day when you don't really go anywhere. Typically, when I do them, it's like, hey, here I'm going into this apartment. Here I'm
Yeah.
going to this closing. Now we're going through Times Square. Today I was like, so now sorry, someone called. I'm walking through an empty city, and now I'm at the office, totally empty, and that's what I got.
Yeah, well, at least you have a cute baby for the likes, for the attention.
Yeah, thanks.
They're
She fell out of her playpen for the first time today. She's huge. She's a
what happened?
ginormous baby. She's like the Honey I Blew Up a Baby. She's like that baby. Remember that movie? And she like just we put her in for timeout, and then she put one leg up, and it was like in a split second. It's like one leg, bad. She like got a little cut on her eye. It's not good. Not
Oh,
good. She'll never remember it for the rest of her life, but we'll never forget.
yeah. Well, today's a momentous day, not only because of the playpen accident, but also because we're going to talk about real estate. Ryan, what can you tell me about what's happening in the real estate market right now?
Um, that question is pretty loaded, and it really
Already.
depends. It really depends on where you are, right? Major cities that are under strict shelter at place guidelines are having a hard time. So New York City is basically at a standstill.
Mhm.
Our new listing volume year over year is down by over 80%. Our transactions are down roughly the same percentage, if not more, because most people left the city when this started on
Right.
March 22nd. And those who stayed have really kind of abided by the law and stayed at home. And they won't go see other apartments, and they're sticking it out and wondering what's going to happen in the world. There's a lot of uncertainty. And when things are uncertain and people feel like they're in limbo, they don't make decisions regarding their money, right? People get nervous and they hold back. Like that's what you saw coming out of the Great Recession was, there was a lot of companies, a lot of people who had just hoarded cash this entire time. And then you saw the market really pick up from 2011 to 16, where they just said, oh, I'm going to spend it now, right? So
Right.
we're going to see kind of the same cycle. But we have I do an online real estate sales course, so like Serhant course, and we have 4,000 agents around the world, and a lot of them are in the United States and not in New York City, and they've been incredibly busy. We've got agents in Detroit, East Tennessee, the San Fernando Valley, Houston, Texas. They're all over, and they've seen the exact opposite. They've been incredibly busy because people now have more time. And they have more time to look at homes. They have more time to go see homes. And they are realizing for maybe the first time in a long time, because they've been so busy, how important your home is, because there's no better way to show someone the value of a home than by locking them in their current crappy one for 2 months.
Yeah, I'm getting real tired of being in my 10 by 10 living room for 9 hours a day.
I know.
So
Doesn't it make you want to get a bigger apartment?
it does, yeah. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I re-signed my lease because I was a little bit afraid to move, and I
Yeah.
can imagine that it's not just me that has that attitude.
Yeah, I
Is
think
it something
we're
you're dealing
gonna,
with?
every client that I talk to, it's like, well, what's gonna happen? Is it gonna be a V-shaped recovery, or is it gonna be just pent up demand? People are gonna bounce back and get new apartments on July 1. and I don't think so. I think it's going to be a U shape. I think the bottom of the U is probably going to be 2020. And I think 2020 is going to be a lot of people just like yourself who are saying, I was going to move this year, but a lot happened. And so, you know what? What's another year? I'll stick it out. I think 2021 is going to be mass chaos and pandemonium. And I think you're going to have all the pent up demand that's going to wait it out through the election, figure out what's going on. Their New Year's resolution is going to come around and they don't want the same kitchen anymore, right? They're going to want an upgrade. Life is going to go back to normal. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the shape of the recession, because I was just talking to a couple of economists about it, and one of them told me he doesn't think it's going to be U-shaped or V-shaped. He said it's more like a scribble.
Yeah, it's what it feels like.
Yeah,
like
right.
you don't even know what's happening. It feels like a car crash. Like we're just kind of like hurtling through the air, and we have no idea when we're going to land, if we're going to be upside down on our side, we're going to maybe land on our wheels, and holy hells, we're so lucky. Are we going to be ejected through the window? Are we going to have just a little scratch? Like, we have no idea. All we know is that we got hit by a truck, and we're hurtling through the air, and we're just praying that it's all going to be okay.
Are there things that we can be doing right now in our limited lockdown quarantine situation to get ready for buying or selling a house or apartment? Like, can I put this time to good use?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the first thing you can do, which I think everybody is doing, is not spend money. Is spend money cautiously, spend it wisely, spend it on education, spend it on books, spend it on courses, things that can make you better, to make you more money. But listen, at the same time, like I've saved so much money in the last 2 months because I haven't gone out to dinners. I haven't bought clothes. Like,
no Uber.
What do I need a new sweater for to get to my kitchen? Like, all this stuff that, listen, I'm as I speak right now, every retailer and restaurateur and person in hospitality hates me, but it's like, we've been able to save money and be smart about it. And really think about your future. Think about the next 5 years and what you want to do and what your prospects are. And, really take kind of like a life audit, use this time as a life check. If you were working in retail and you got laid off or furloughed, take this moment to say, okay, well, due to the CARES Act, the unemployment benefits that I'm receiving are better than I ever would have gotten before. Do I really want to go back to retail? If you love it, absolutely go back. But if you were always second guessing it from the first place, maybe you don't go back. Maybe use this time to figure out something else you want to do. I think, out of the ashes comes beauty, right? Every time. And maybe it's a new career trajectory that can lead you towards an even better home purchase. But I think if you were on the fence to buy a place and now you're wondering, oh, I don't know, there's a lot going on. 2 weeks ago, interest rates were the lowest they've ever been on record, right? The 30-year fixed was, I think, averaging 3.23 or 3.28%. Last year, the 30-year fixed was averaging 4.07%. Now, I think we're like 2 bips above where we were 2 weeks ago, if I remember correctly. So it's still record lows. And if the Fed bench rate gets lowered any further, then like you take advantage of these moments, like it's just, it's every bank right now is kind of, drooling at the mouth to do purchase loans. They've locked up access to credit lines because they don't want to run on the banks, but they want people to buy homes. It's good business for banks, and you have the opportunity to now go and get a deal. Like, we have buyers right now who are, emailing us and saying, hey, I haven't seen it, but if your seller would entertain, this offer, which I think 2 months ago might have been insulting, but if they do it now, I'd buy it sight unseen. And the seller is actually open to it, because when's the next time we're going to be able to show it? I have no idea. I thought it was going to be March 15th. Sorry, I thought it was going to be May 15th, and now it's not going to. So I think there's great opportunity right now for buyers. Great. Like, this is probably the best buying opportunity anyone's going to have for the next 10 years by far.
On the flip side, what if you're trying to sell? Like, I know, for example, you put on Money's Instagram story today that you have been doing virtual tours. Is that something that a seller can do on their own, or can they make the process any easier if they want to get a broker in there?
Yeah, well, I'm not in the business of telling sellers to sell without a broker. So I think they should hire a real estate agent, a good one who knows what they're doing. And listen, I've got a whole media team that supports my entire sales team with virtual tours and property tours and videos. And we've been selling through YouTube for the last 2 years, I want to say. And it works. Right? YouTube is the second biggest platform for search next to Google. More people go to YouTube to look for property than they do Zillow anywhere else, right? Because there's so much of it there. And so, really, really take advantage of that and have your realtor sell through video. I mean, video is the future. Anyone not selling with video right now is still getting their VHS tapes at Blockbuster.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got to modernize.
Yeah.
We have some questions that came in from our audience. Sorry if I'm looking off screen. I'm looking at my computer. Somebody says, advice for someone in their 20s looking to move to NYC to do real estate.
Do it. Let's go.
Well, can't. That's the advice.
Yeah.
Do the
Listen,
course.
I think I got into the business the day Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy. And it was the worst time ever to get into the real estate business. But at the same time, as a brand new agent, I had very little bills. I had no responsibility. If it didn't work out, I wasn't going to die, right? Like anyone who starts a new career, if it doesn't work in the first year or two, you do something else. And New York has a way of toughening you up really, really quickly and forcing you to succeed if you have the will to do so. And that's what I really appreciate about Manhattan and Brooklyn and Long Island City and these streets and the people. And I think coming here now to do it is probably the best time because you're going to start at the bottom with everybody else. The market has now been reset to zero. And the only place you can go from here is up. Right? Where do you go from shutdown? You open up, and that would be the best time to start. And for that person, I'll plug my new Agent Accelerator program where you can get your license at the same time and learn how to sell all in one bundle. You can go to my website and get it.
Sounds like a good deal to me. Another question that's kind of related. What's your advice for sellers who have had their apartment on the market for a long time, like over a year?
Yeah, lower your price. Stop being so stubborn.
Really?
Yes. It's always price. Well, it's three things, okay? For any seller out there who's not selling, it's price, it's presentation, and it's patience. So for that person, it's been on the market for over a year. Mm-hmm. You've had your patience. Right? It's been out there for a year. There's been a market sample. There's no magical new person that's going to pop up and pay the number you want today. No one sees something that's been on the market at an asking price for 1 year and then says to themselves, you know what? It's been out there for a year. No one else has bought it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go pay that person what they want. No one does that. Okay. Presentation. Sometimes it's not just price. Sometimes it's presentation. Sometimes it's your orange living room. Sometimes it's your orange living room with your plaid couch and your leopard rug. Yeah. Right. Sometimes your personal taste is just horrendous and awful and is impossible to sell. So you gotta be smart at the end of the day, and maybe you have to paint, maybe you have to clean up, maybe you have to stage. Your home, every time a new buyer sees it, is going on a first date, right? It's prom. So dress up your home to be beautiful and great for the first date. And if the presentation is great and you've had a lot of patience, then it's price. Your home is not worth what you think it is. It's worth what a buyer thinks it is. And you got to pay attention to the comparables. And I think the United States does it a bit differently. I love how they sell in Australia. In Australia, there's no listing prices. We do business in Australia. I have a lot of course members in Australia, and Australians love $1 Million Listing. Before COVID, every day there is someone from Australia standing outside my office waiting to meet me. It's bonkers. Awesome. But they do reserves. So if you are somebody who's pre-approved for a loan, let's say, and you can afford between $500,000 and $1 million for a home, you go in and you go on the search platform. I think it's realestate.au, and you type in, that's my budget, and it shows you everything that's in your budget. It doesn't show you things that are 600, 650, 630, this, with all the arrows up and the arrows down. It just shows you, hey, this is what's in your budget. The reserve prices are in your budget. You go, and the properties sit on the market for 30 days, and they go to auction. And then if 10 people are interested, it's going to price up. if one person's interested, they have the ability to negotiate, and things either sell or they don't sell. It's pretty great. In the United States, we let the seller choose the price, which is somewhat backwards, right? Like I don't know. And hopefully one day I think that'll change, right? It works for art. You don't have the seller of the art choose the price, right? You have them set the reserve price, and then you let the market determine the market value as it should.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me. Speaking of changes, making necessary changes, how do you think the market is going to change after all of this? And I would say in the United States, maybe.
Yeah, I think for a short period of time, and yes to all the comments talking about how long my hair is. I realize I need
They
a
love
haircut.
it. Oh,
Okay, I realize I have a goatee because I've grown I grew two beards so far, two full beards during the corona. My facial hair grows so fast that a couple of days ago, I was like, you know what, I can't. And I just shaved this. And it's like this. You know what? This works for me today. Yeah. Yeah. So I think in the short term, the market will be conscious of virus, right? Like, so I wrote a letter a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, about how the recession taught the real estate industry and real estate salespeople to be recession proof, right? How do you protect your business in the event of another recession? On the East Coast, we got hit by a hurricane, in Hurricane Sandy, I think in 2011. It was really tough, anything on the water. So how do you train the real estate market to be disaster proof? And this is going to teach us to be virus proof, right? So what do buildings look like going forward? Are there going to be co-working spaces? Will people be interested in buying an apartment on a floor with 25 other apartments where you all have to hit the same elevator button to get out? It's once there's a vaccine, sure, but that doesn't mean there won't be another virus next year and another one and another one. Like there's been a lot just since 2001, right? Between SARS and swine flu and everything, this one just obviously got out of hand. But I don't think it stops people from buying homes. I hear so many people, and I think they just write these articles because they want clicks or something, but like so many people saying that urbanism is dead and that, condo sales are dead and home sales are dead. People aren't going to buy homes anymore, but I completely disagree. I think this is a multi-trillion-dollar PR campaign for the value of a quality home. Yeah. It's not, no one has gotten on TV or gone in the news and talked about, please safeguard yourself in your office, right?
You're right.
They're not like, hey, the safest place you can be right now to protect us all is at your cubicle. No. Right? I'm more concerned about where the office leasing space goes, all the office buildings, like at what point, if all the tech companies are going to allow 80% of their workforce to work from home forever.
Yeah.
What does every other CEO do? Like, what do you say to somebody that says, hey, I want to work from home? And how do you monitor that person? How do you manage that person? How do you know that they're not watching, Netflix at 11 a.m.? Like and how does that person then stay productive and be part of the conversation? Because at the end of the day, it is out of sight, out of mind. So I really don't know, but I think the market for homes is going to be better than ever beginning in January 21. I think the market for office is going to have a real reckoning.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, especially in New York. Money Mag is down in FIDA, and we're in a co-working space, and I've been doing my job from home for 2 months. Not sure what the future holds.
And you're crushing it. Look at you in Crown Heights.
Me and my tiny apartment. Well, I think we need to wrap up. Let's do one last real quick question for you. People want to know, what are you up to? And I think that can play nicely into your outro. What are you up to? Where can they find you? What's happening, Ryan?
I come to the office every day by myself, and I've been working on everything I can that's not showing apartments. I've been focusing on something I like to call my AQL, my after quarantine life, and focusing on after quarantine listings, and getting sellers ready for once this all lifts, and getting buyers off the fence, keeping dialogues going. And I've been writing. In a couple weeks, I'm going to announce my second book. And we've got a lot of things coming this summer that are going to be totally crazy. I don't know. I've taken this time to be as productive as I possibly can, because whenever am I ever going to get 2 months in the middle of spring where no one is allowed to do anything. The world literally, like Zach Morris, Saved by the Bell time, the world got a timeout and you then get to make up all this lost time. Like this
Right.
is 2 months of bonus time to do everything that you haven't gotten off your to-do list for your entire life. So, but you can follow me on Instagram. My book is on everywhere. It's Sell Like Serhant. It's the greatest book ever. And the course, Sell Like Serhant, the course is at ryanserhant.com/course. And it's crazy. The course has exploded since the quarantine started because I think a lot of people who've been let go have really, like I said, thought about what they want to do with the rest of their life, and they've had an interest in real estate or in sales, and they're using this time to learn how to sell and to get their license, and it's just been awesome, completely awesome. That's it.
All right, so put your free time to good use. Go follow Ryan. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
This is Money Mag signing off. Bye, guys.
See you guys.